project I'm working on at the moment is a hedge for the front of my property. It's about 300 metres long, and I'm at the front of the road, so all my beautiful neighbours drive past and can see my whole property. These are Karo pittosporums. They were self-seeded and sitting under the mother tree in the garden at my local PGG Wrightson store. I asked them if I could go and pick some seedlings, and they said yeah, sure. So this project for a 300 metre hedge has cost me so far $12 for the seed raising mix that I'm putting them in. These little pots here are all free from the recycled pots big box at Mitre 10. I think most Mitre 10 stores have them available. People just take them back if they don't need them anymore and recycle them. So if I keep watering them, they will make a beautiful hedge for all of $12 and 10 minutes of me plucking them out of the ground. Karo pittosporums are prolific reproducers, and they self-seed really well and grow more of their own offspring. There weren't any here on this property to begin with, so I didn't have like a available source. So I was very lucky that my local righties team was so kind and let me go and take these ones. These plants make a great hedge. They will be very bushy, very dense, thick, and that's also the west side of my property, which is the prevailing wind in spring. Every year it literally knocks over trees on my block, so I'll be stoked to see these guys growing rapidly as they do. And I'll do a count up because this is only today's pickings. I grabbed some more last week. I'll do a tally and let you know how many I've got. So you're probably going to wonder what the difference will be in the end result from these single cell pots compared to the big long brown tray that I had. These little single cells, they're handier for people who are growing in bulk because you need less soil, potting mix, seed raising mix, whatever you've got per plant, so you can propagate more with less dirt. The big trays, they will probably produce bigger, healthier plants because the roots can spread. They're not going to get wrapped up in these little cells. The difference is when you pot these or plant these out, they get to take some dirt with them. Whereas if I pull the other ones out of the big tray, they probably will have a lot less dirt with them, but they'll be healthier plants. So it depends what you're after, how much resources you have around as to what you want to do, which way you want to do it. So this will be a good experiment to show you the difference in autumn between the small single cells and how their roots come out versus the ones that are in the larger trays, planted quite dense, but I mean that's how they grow in nature anyway, especially the pittos. Karos just love company and they thrive. You don't really have to look after them too much, they're pretty self-dependent. So there's a total of 168 seedlings. That took me probably all of 20 minutes to pluck out. $12 for my seed raising mix. Could have got it cheaper if I went to the warehouse and probably got more. And that was 15 litres. Then, what else? Fuel doesn't count because I was already at Wrightson's grabbing some stock for a client's project. And yeah, then it's just my time on top of. But 168 plants minus 10% loss, you're still going to get 150 plants to plant out for a total of like $12. So I'll do a costing of what these will cost per plant when they're about this big, and show you the savings that you can make just by doing it yourself. So if you know of anyone who has Karo pittosporums or any pittosporums and you want to do a hedge, or any other plants that are prolific self-seeders and you want to propagate them, definitely cheaper to do it yourself than purchase them from the shop. So it's just end of winter now, and the Karo pittosporums, these are some of the ones that I got and planted in the larger big tray with them all together. They did much better. They're bare rooted. They are a little bit off colour because I didn't fertilise them or anything, and they did have a few weeds to compete with, but they've definitely grown, and I'll go and show you how they look out on the roadside because I've done half of them. The ones in the little single cell pots didn't do that great. I've already planted them and they didn't change much in size, so this is a far better way to do it in bulk in the larger pot, and I'll just reuse that seed raising mix for something else. You can see I haven't sprayed off any weeds or anything because the council actually come and do spraying, and I'm actually using this grass around them as a bit of protection, so if there's any drift from the spraying guy, it shouldn't really get these. I know they're a little bit yellow, but they'll come right. They're just getting used to their new environment. I also don't have time to just come out and weed and spray and do all that stuff on the front fence for fun. So I'm just going to let the grass and everything else stay, and as these grow up, they'll outcompete it and shade them out anyway. And yeah, we'll just roll with it. So I just cut a thin wedge out of the ground with the spade, put my little seedling in, and then break up the soil and oopsie, plonk her in. There we go, that's better. Planted, and it's got a bit of wind protection from all this longer grass, so that's good for now. So these are planted at approximately a metre, maybe just over, and that's pretty wide for pittos. Not recommended hedging width. See, here's one of the little tiny ones that was in a seed cell. Not as good, but that's alright. That's what experiments are for. There's a bigger one. But the reason I'm doing them at a wider spacing is actually because we get like 100k winds here, and I need these to have a really good size root ball on them, nice and wide, so they can withstand those 100k winds that come through. And I don't believe they would if I planted them at traditional spacing, which makes them grow taller faster, but they compete for root space, branch space, limb space, and things like that. So I'd rather they be bushier and stronger than tall.